The crystal glasses clinked against the mahogany bars of the Lancaster Hotel's grand ballroom. My brother's wedding reception was in full swing, a celebration of not just his marriage to the perfect socialite bride, but of everything the Sullivan name represented in Boston's elite circles. I sat at my assigned table, purposefully distanced from the family section, watching the scene unfold. The string quartet played softly, the champagne flowed freely, and Boston's elite mingled with practiced ease. My father, James Sullivan, worked the room like the king he believed himself to be, his silver hair catching the light, his tuxedo immaculate. My phone buzzed silently. A message from Diana, my lawyer. All documents filed. Ready when you are. 3 years of careful planning had led to this moment. 3 years since I discovered the truth about my father's empire, about my grandmother's stolen legacy, about everything the Sullivan name really meant. Julia. My mother's voice cut through my thoughts. She stood beside my table, elegant in her designer gown, disapproval etched on her face. Couldn't you have done something with your hair? It's your brother's wedding. I touched my simple updo, which had cost more than her entire outfit. Hello, Mother. You look lovely. She clutched her champagne glass like a shield. At least you came. Though Michael wasn't sure he wanted to invite you, after everything. Everything. Such a convenient way to package the past 3 years. My dramatic departure from Sullivan Properties, my supposed failure to launch my own career, my absence from family functions. They'd crafted the perfect narrative. Poor Julia, too weak for the business world, too soft for the Sullivan way. If only they knew. I wouldn't miss my brother's wedding, I said softly, watching Michael dance with his new bride, Sarah. She was perfect for him. Old money, impeccable manners, and most importantly, a thorough understanding of her place in the Sullivan hierarchy. My mother hesitated, trying not to cause a scene. Your father's in a good mood. Let's keep it that way. I smiled, thinking about the envelope in my clutch. Don't worry, Mother. Everything will happen exactly as it should. The night progressed predictably. Toasts were made, dances were shared, and Boston's elite congratulated themselves on another successful merger of prominent families. I watched it all from my quiet corner, remembering the night 3 years ago when everything changed. I had found the documents in my father's private safe, the original will my grandmother had signed before her death, so different from the version that appeared afterward. Then I discovered more. Forged papers, threatened witnesses, decades of systematic fraud that had built the Sullivan Empire. When I had confronted him, he'd laughed. This is business, Julia, he'd said dismissively. You're too soft to understand. This is why Michael will run the company. He gets it. I'd walked away that day, but not before making copies of everything. Then I'd spent 3 years building my own empire under a different name. Alexander Rose Properties, named after my grandmother. No one had made the connection because no one had ever bothered to learn her full name. Now, as the reception reached its peak, my father clinked his glass for attention. Time for his speech. Today, he beamed. My son Michael proves himself once again to be a true Sullivan. He's chosen a wonderful bride. He's leading our company to record profits, and he understands what this family name means. His eyes found me in the crowd. Unlike some who share our blood, but not our values. The room grew quiet. Even Michael looked uncomfortable. Julia, my father continued, his voice carrying across the ballroom, you may have been born a Sullivan, but you've proven you don't deserve our name. Your weakness, your so-called ethics, they have no place in our world. I stood slowly, every eye in the room on me. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. "You're right, Dad," I said, my voice clear and calm. "I don't deserve the Sullivan name. I deserve better." I walked toward him, opening my clutch and removing the envelope. "Consider this my wedding gift to the family." He took the envelope, probably expecting a check or a card, but as he opened it, his face turned ash white. What is this?" "The deed to your house," I said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "and the mortgage documents showing that Alexander Rose Properties now owns it. I'm your new landlord." The room erupted in whispers. My father's hands shook as he read the papers. "This is impossible," he stammered. "Alexander Rose, that was your grandmother's." "Yes," I smiled. "The grandmother you cheated. Turns out I learned more from you than you thought. I just chose to use those lessons differently." The crystal glasses stopped clinking. The string quartet faltered. Boston's elite stood frozen, watching their king being dethroned by his own daughter. "You can't do this," my father hissed, gripping the papers so tightly they crumpled. "I'll fight it." "Like you fought grandmother's will?" I asked quietly. "Or should we discuss how you manipulated those documents too? Should we talk about Janet Miller, the nurse you threatened? Or maybe about the offshore accounts where you hide the properties you stole?" Michael stepped forward, leaving his bride on the dance floor. "Julia, what are you doing? This is my wedding." "Yes, it is," I agreed. "And Dad just chose to use it as a platform to publicly denounce me. I'm simply responding in kind." Diana emerged from the crowd, tablet in hand. "Mr. Sullivan, we have documentation of systematic fraud dating back to 1998, including the illegal acquisition of Alexander Rose Montgomery's property portfolio. Would you like to discuss this publicly, or should we move this conversation somewhere more private?" The whispers grew louder. Phones appeared in hands as Boston's elite sensed a scandal brewing. My mother appeared at my father's side, her face a mask of barely controlled panic. "Private room," she whispered urgently. Now, we moved to a conference room